Merry Christmas, Misfits. I'm Melinda.
I'm Angie.
And we are also Misfits. We got these cute little wine tumblers made today.
They say I'm a misfit.
They do. So we're super excited about these, and I'm so excited to tell you about this merch line that we have coming. It'll be a while yet, but the ideas are amazing. Mm-hmm. And there's so many ideas coming from so many different avenues. And so that's going to be super duper duper fun. This is just the first little piece.
Well, and our family is like full of ideas. Like she's getting ideas from my mom, ideas from me, ideas from her husband, who is actually an amazing artist and very skillful that can probably do these for us.
In probably like 30 seconds, but that's fine. That's fine.
Either way, we'll pay for them now.
Yeah. What is it going to pay for things when I can get them done for free?
We're going to have to cut that out. Because you're awkward and weird. Anyways, so our whole family has tons of ideas that we like to share with Melinda because we're so excited about this podcast, and I'm so excited to do this with her.
Yes.
And but these are super cute, and I love being a misfit, and I love the idea of this podcast.
I love being a misfit too.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear your stories.
Okay.
But I haven't heard yet. So some of these I will have heard, and some of them I won't, and I have not heard any of what she's about to share today.
Well, before I get into these stories, I want to know, when you think of Christmas and you think of the holidays, what comes to your mind? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Oh my gosh. Christmas songs, baking with my family, candy making. I love Christmas. I love the holiday spirit. I love the joy that it brings my household. I love everything about Christmas. I love the traditions, and our family's really big on traditions. And so I have traditions that I've done every year since my kids were little. And if I try to not do one of them, it's a big issue for the oldest one, who's 17. And she's like, oh my gosh, Mom. And that's what she sounds like.
Yeah, that's my kids with traditions too. Don't try and change them. It makes them angry.
But I love our family traditions. And one of my favorite ones is I've always bought my kids Christmas jammies on Christmas Eve. And they get to open those on Christmas Eve. And then they wake up Christmas morning in their Christmas jammies, and we all have those on. And another one of my favorite ones is I get an ornament for the year of whatever represented something that they were doing that year. Like my son was in band one year. He got a saxophone. My daughter was completely crazy, and I couldn't understand her, like a mythical creature. And so she got a mermaid. And Weston binge watches YouTube constantly. I'm like, what has happened to my child? And Weston is 5, and we call him Kim Jong-West because he's dictator and he runs our household. And whatever he says, we just do.
Yeah,
because otherwise you'll regret it.
Don't say no.
You don't say no.
Don't say no.
It's just so much easier. So I'm raising a terrorist, and I'm aware of that. And I would appreciate no judgment because I already know. I'm trying.
Well, I would just like you to know that these stories that you're about to hear are the exact opposite of everything you love about Christmas.
Oh, even the little terrorist?
Little piece.
He's super cute, and he is super sweet, too.
He is.
But he is super naughty.
Just as sweet as he is, that's how naughty he can be, too. But his naughty's my favorite because he's the cutest naughty.
That's very cute.
So, now we will get into story number 1. This story is about Hans Trapp. There are so many stories of the great Saint Nick's counterpart, whether it be Krampus or Perchta or some other mythical creature that punishes the naughty children, right?
I don't know these stories.
You don't?
I've never watched a Christmas story where somebody punishes naughty children. Like, I've watched Miracle on 34th Street. I've watched The Christmas Story, Elf. Like, what kind of Christmas stories are you watching or reading?
These are the counterpart to Santa. So Santa rewards the good children. The counterparts punish the naughty children.
Never watched a counterpart movie, never read a story.
Okay.
I did hear something of a Krampus one time.
Yeah, there is a movie called Krampus.
Is that it?
And it's a Christmas movie. You should watch it.
That's not a Christmas movie. I know it's not.
It's a Christmas movie. I just watched it.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. Oh.
But it's not the kind you like.
Okay.
So this story is absolutely one that is certain to make you squirm.
Okay.
For sure. Hans Trapp, a.k.a. the Christmas Scarecrow, he lived in the 1400s in the French regions of Alsace and Lorraine. He was rich, powerful, and merciless. He was a man that was feared by many. It is said that he was so power hungry that he turned to the devil to enhance his power and status. When the Pope found out about this, he excommunicated Trapp and banished him from Alsace and his land and his wealth.
Wow.
Yeah, you get him, Pope. You get him. So Trapp has to construct this makeshift house in the middle of a mountain in Bavaria, in Germany. And it's just a little makeshift place where I guess he can live. And so as he's living here, his bitterness grows, and his evil desires just fester. And he developed a craving to consume human flesh.
Oh.
So Trapp earned his name, the Christmas Scarecrow, by dressing in a straw disguise and waiting alongside lonely roads for children.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, he sucked.
Is this a true story or just like a folk?
So this is folklore, and with folklore, there's a little bit of truth in every story.
Oh, okay.
There's a little bit of truth in every story. So, I just told you how Trapp earned his nickname. I'm sorry about that. So a 10-year-old boy crossed his path, and Hans stabbed him in the abdomen with a sharp stick. He took the little shepherd's boy back to his lair, where Trapp proceeded to slice him into small pieces and roast him up for dinner.
Yuck.
Merry Christmas.
It's terrible.
Yes.
This is the worst Christmas stories.
These are great.
Taking my Santa hat off.
So right before Hans dove in oh gosh, I'm sorry, I missed my spot. Right before Hans dove into his evil desire of eating human flesh, he was struck by a divine lightning bolt that killed him.
Huh.
Yes. To this day, children are warned that Hans Trapp's spirit lives on, and he might visit them in his scarecrow attire if they are naughty.
Someone better tell Weston. My poor baby. He's sleeping with me.
So this might sound like just a spooky little tale to tell kids and make them be good, but unfortunately, Hans Trapp is based on a real person.
Gross. It's terrible.
His name is Hans von Trotha.
Hans von Trotha.
Yes. Hans was a knight who lived from 1450 to 1503. He commanded two castles in the Palatin, French and German territories. I'm so sorry. Von Trotha and the church began to argue over property in one of them. The abbot would not hand over certain properties to Von Trotha. So it pissed off Von Trotha, and so he ended up stopping the water supply to the nearby town of Weissenberg with a dam. So in retaliation, the abbot had the dam destroyed, which flooded the villagers' homes and businesses. The dispute continued until Hans von Trotha was summoned by the Pope and excommunicated. There are no records to show that von Trotha turned to cannibalism or that he ever dressed up as a scarecrow. But he was given the name the Dark Knight because even after he was excommunicated, he still found ways to cause pain to the townsfolk and royalty. So that is the story of Hans Trapp. Our second story of the night is one of David Milbury. This is not an urban legend. This is a true story of a father who wanted to surprise his children for Christmas, but the surprise they got was not the one that was intended. 6 years ago, on Christmas Eve, David Milbury, 41 years old, of Athens, Ohio, a husband and a father of 3, decided he wanted to surprise his children, and so he left his house on Christmas Eve, and he said he was leaving to prepare a surprise. And he never returned. And so there was a police investigation that was launched. The community was searching for him. The police were searching everywhere. Everyone was looking for this man. The FBI got involved. And despite all efforts made, there was no leads and no evidence to help guide them in this investigation. So a full year goes by. So we're at Christmas time the next year, and the wife hires a chimney sweep to come clean out her chimney, just like every year this happens. And so the chimney sweep guy, he is up in there, and he, like, his brush or broom or stick or whatever gets stuck in the chimney. And so he gives it a good jab, and he hears a loud noise. Something falls. So then he goes down to see what actually happened. And what he saw, he said, was the worst thing he's ever seen in his entire life. A man dressed in a Santa suit was laying there, and he said that his skin looked like beef jerky.
He was stuck in the chimney.
He was stuck in the chimney. And there was also a big red Santa bag full of wrapped presents. Oh my gosh. And so he was very easily identified by a tattoo that he had on his forearm. And
it wasn't burnt off?
No. So, and I'm wondering if, like, maybe they're like my household, where they don't really light their fire all the time, but maybe a couple of times, and maybe he was up far enough to where he got a lot of smoke damage, but not like burnt off skin. I don't know. The chimney sweep just
so
said
he like
that,
suffocated to death in there,
yes,
or starved to death, or like.
Well, so the wife sees him and screams and passes out, obviously. And when the cops come, they knew it was him immediately, and they said that he most certainly died of dehydration and suffocation.
Oh, it's terrible. He was trying to surprise his kids. He's like, I'm going to fit down this chimney. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on this suit, and I'm going to go down this chimney and bring them all the gifts. So did they open their gifts?
Right. Well, I don't know. There's these 3 distraught children and a wife, and dad's in a Santa outfit with a bag. Like, I don't know if I would have opened those presents.
Well, I mean, he's been gone a year. I mean,
well, maybe. I mean, it doesn't say whether they
terrible. I wouldn't really
open their presents or not. Like,
it's really terrible.
You think I'm morbid? Good grief.
Terrible.
So anyway, so that, unfortunately, short story, but it is a true story. And Dad was found a year later. Just as
That's
sad.
awful. What a sweet dad.
I know. But when I was researching this story, do you know how many people actually die in chimneys? So many people.
I can tell you how many females do. 0.
Oh, yeah, there's not a whole lot.
No, I'll tell you why later. I can't do this. I know men watch this too. Men are smart. They do really smart things. I wasn't even going to say anything.
Yeah. Well, it is typically men. Like there was one story I was looking at where this older man and this little girl, not even related to each other, they went missing at the same time. And they were found years later in a chimney, stuck in a chimney together. And there's lots of people die in chimneys because chimneys are not meant for humans. They aren't. And what happens is, and there was actually this cute little thing that made me super claustrophobic when I read it, but it shows the Grinch going down the chimney on, the Grinch Stole Christmas, and he's going down the chimney and he's trying to walk down with his feet against the wall, and then you see him and his feet are up here and his back is right here, and it's because things start moving faster than the other, and then you become completely wedged and stuck.
Sounds like a terrible, terrible, terrible way to pass.
I know. When I was reading that and I looked at the picture, I was just like I can't breathe.
That sounds horrible.
I know. Don't go in a chimney.
Nobody.
None of you go in a chimney, even though it sounds so sweet to surprise your babies. Don't do it.
Bad idea,
They'll
Bob.
get a surprise that they don't want. So, on to the next short story. Angie, do you know the Muffin Man on Drury Lane? On Drury Lane!
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
With gumdrop buttons? I know the Muffin Man.
Yes, that's the same Muffin Man.
Well, I mean, I know him from Shrek and from a fairy tale.
You don't really know the Muffin Man from Drury Lane, do you?
Is he like a real man?
He was like a real man.
Really?
He was a real boy.
Did he have gumdrop buttons?
No.
Oh.
No, but he did make muffins.
Oh, okay.
He was a baker.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Frederick Thomas Linwood, from the 16th century, was a baker in England.
How cool.
Uh-huh. He would deliver his baked muffins to the homes of the middle class. These muffins would be more like English muffins as opposed to the sweet American muffins that we have now.
Like a savory muffin?
Yes, absolutely. Frederick did, in fact, live on Drury Lane.
Huh. Knew that part.
He sure did. The kids in the area would run around Frederick's bakery, causing mischief, and it drove Frederick crazy. Drove him nuts. He wanted them to play elsewhere, but kids, I mean, if you think about it back then, you have a bakery shop with all these yummy bakes all over the place, and it just smells like fresh bread. I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Well, and there's not endless places to get it, right?
No.
You get it from the bakery.
Right.
They don't have it at gas stations and the Walmart.
They didn't have Little Debbie.
Yeah.
So yes, his shop had kids there all the time. And this drove him insane. And as Frederick became more annoyed, he decided to do something about it himself. He started tying muffins to a string and ropes to get the attention of children. Then he would start pulling on the string to get the children to chase after the muffin. And it became a game. And the kids thought this was super fun. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to chase this muffin down. Yeah.
That's a fun game.
Super fun game. And as soon as he would get them lured back to either his bakery or his house, the legend says he would hit them over the head with a wooden spoon to knock them out.
That's a big ass spoon.
That's what I'm saying. So I just assume hitting someone in the head, it's going to leave you a little goose egg, but
To knock someone out.
but
with
to
a wooden
knock you
spoon.
out, no, it's got to be
nothing.
one of those great big solid wooden ladles or something.
Yeah. Anyway, so he knocked kids out with a wooden something.
He did. And then he would proceed to torture them until their death. Yes.
Who tortures children?
Well, the Muffin Man, of course.
On Drury Lane?
On Drury Lane.
No.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
It is said that between 1589 and 1598, he killed more than 15 children and 7 other bakers that were competition to him because he didn't want any other bakers in the area stealing his business.
Or his children.
Or his children.
God, that's terrible.
Yes, and so the nursery rhyme...
So weird to think how long this kind of like evil, real shit has existed.
Yeah, yeah.
This has been around
forever.
And I am such an advocate for children and protecting children. And I just love children. I love their innocence and everything they are. So to sit here and think how long this has happened since the beginning of time.
Yeah, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible and terrible.
It's terrible.
So in 1912, Frederick died by choking on a dumpling.
Ha! You got yours, Frederick.
Sure did, Frederick. He was also known as the Drury Lane Dicer. And he was said to be the first serial killer in England.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those babies.
So the little nursery rhyme of "Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane" was actually made to warn children so that they would remember, stay away from Drury Lane, stay away from the Muffin Man.
Okay, let's talk about nursery rhymes, because that shit's fucked up, okay? That, first of all, messed up. Ring Around the Rosie?
Messed up.
Messed up. Okay, I found out that's about the plague, right? Mm-hmm. Pocket full of posies, ashes, we all fall down. That's like them burning them.
Yeah.
When they all die from the plague.
Yeah.
And these are nursery rhymes that we sing to our children
Like,
and play with
happy
them.
times.
This is messed up.
Like, I wonder what the meaning is behind "You Are My Sunshine."
No, that one's good. And don't ruin it for me. That one's fine. My only sunshine. That was fine. You make me happy.
On to short story number 4, guys. Okay, so our 4th and final story of the evening is the clown puppet.
Oh, nothing says Christmas like a fucking clown puppet. God, that's terrible.
Dolls are the worst.
Wait, can I say the F word on here?
Yeah.
Okay, but puppets are fine. Clown
puppets?
No.
Yeah. So in the 1980s, there was a family that consisted of mom, dad, and 3 girls.
Oh, this is in the 80s?
Yes.
Okay. I can relate.
Yeah.
I was born in the 80s.
Me too.
We're not talking about what year.
Uh-uh.
Guessing game, but.
I know what year.
80s.
Old ass. The oldest daughter was 15. The middle daughter was 12, and the youngest daughter was 7. So the parents asked the kids what they wanted for Christmas. The oldest daughter wants a Walkman.
Oh, God, I remember Walkman.
I remember a Walkman.
Those were awesome.
Yes, I loved a Walkman. And then I got a Discman once those came in.
Those
Whatever.
were cool, too.
Doesn't matter. She wanted a Walkman. So the middle daughter, she wanted a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, yeah.
Those are fun.
Those are still fun. Yeah.
And the youngest daughter, she wanted a little dolly.
Okay.
She wanted a new little dolly. So while the parents are out shopping for the items the girls had asked for, they come across a doll shop. No, don't ever buy a doll from a doll shop. It's a terrible, terrible idea.
I don't know if they have doll shops anymore. They have doll aisles.
Who knows? Maybe where they lived, they had doll shops.
So my ex-husband's grandmother had ceramic dolls. She collected them. They were all over her house. And she gave one to Addison.
You.
And Addie has a doll from her great-grandma, Lucille, who's so sweet. I just loved her. What a sweet woman she was.
Gross.
But she had a house full of creepy dolls.
Yeah. My mom has always been very upset that she was not allowed to get my oldest daughter a porcelain doll as a keepsake because I was a hard no. I told her, you can get it and keep it at your house.
Yeah.
Not at my house. There we know.
To each their own.
To each their own. Anyway, so they look around the shop for a bit, and this clown puppet draws them both in, and instantaneously they both grab for it and think this is a gift that is perfect for their youngest. They get home, they get the presents wrapped. The next day is Christmas, and the girls hurry to open their presents. Each one of them is just as happy as the other. The 7-year-old loved this clown puppet with bright red curly hair, a red nose, a red mouth, a white face, blue diamonds around the eyes. The eyeballs were a fierce green color.
Okay.
Yeah, throw it out the window. The little girl said, "Oh, his eyes are beautiful and they look so real." Yeah. Anyway, so the oldest daughter did not like the clown puppet. It gave her the creeps. 2 days after Christmas, 7-year-old goes missing. And mom goes in to wake her up, and she's not in her room. The only thing in her room, her bed is made up beautifully, and this fucking clown puppet is sitting in the middle of her bed. So mom doesn't think anything about that. Why would she think weird about the clown puppet? So she's looking and looking. Dad starts looking and looking. The girls are looking. Pretty soon the whole community's searching. The police are searching. Nobody can find this baby. And so the middle daughter is so distraught over this that she can't even bring herself to breathe or move. And all she can think about is how much her little sister loved that clown puppet. So she grabbed the clown. I have these bumps on my legs. She grabs the clown puppet off of her sister's bed and takes it into her room. And she curls up in a ball in her bed and just lays there with the clown puppet and falls asleep. And so she keeps the clown puppet in her room because it just makes her feel close to her sister. 2 days later, she goes missing.
Holy shit.
Yes. So she's involved in the search now. And everybody is now looking for both girls.
Parents are suspects in this, obviously. Is this a real story?
This is a real story.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody is looking for these girls. And the parents included are actually looking for these girls, but I'm pretty sure they're being questioned and looked at.
Of course they are looking for them and being questioned.
And so while they're looking for these girls, the oldest daughter is completely just a mess. I can't even imagine if one of my siblings went missing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so she sees this creepy clown puppet in middle sister's room. And she grabs it. She's still creeped out by it. She doesn't like it. But at the same time, both of her sisters really clung onto it. And so she grabbed it because it just made her feel close to her sisters. And she doesn't sleep with it, but she puts it on a shelf in her room because it's just an important piece. 2 days later, older sis goes missing. Yeah. Yep. And so the parents are so upset by all of this that they can't work. They can't eat.
No, all of their kids are now gone, and all they have is a clown puppet.
All they have is a clown puppet.
Oh my gosh.
And so they end up losing their jobs because they can't even function. And so then they end up having to file bankruptcy because they can't pay for any of their stuff. And so they start selling off valuable items from their home. And the dad goes up into the attic to see if they have some more valuables up there. And he trips and he falls. He falls face down on the floor. And as he pushes himself up and looks up, he is looking into his daughter's eyes. And he comes back a little bit, and he looks, and there are the heads of all 3 of his baby girls.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so he's obviously screaming and freaking out, and then he glances over to see what it was that he tripped over.
It was the clown?
It was the
puppet?
clown puppet that he tripped over.
Weird.
Yes. So when I say this is a real story, it is a real story that I read. It's just for fun. There is no proof that this story actually exists.
Well, yeah. Nobody can prove that.
Yeah.
No.
Just kind of creepy. So that one was just added in for funsies. But so I just wanted to add in what my favorite holiday traditions are.
Yeah.
I actually share my sister's favorite holiday tradition, which is the Christmas Eve jammies. And every year I try to tease my kids because they're like, "Oh, what jammies we're getting?" I'm like, "You're not getting jammies this year." Okay, my kids are 23, 19, and 15. It has happened every year for their entire lives. So they know they're getting jammies. But I do try to argue it. But that is one of my all-time favorite traditions. And being that I do have 2 adult children, they show up at my house at 5 o'clock a.m. Christmas morning.
Love that.
They unlock my door. They come upstairs, pound on my bedroom door. "Mom and Dad, it's Christmas, get up."
Oh, I love that.
So we still do Christmas at 5 a.m. as if we had littles.
Christmas doesn't start in my house until 6 a.m. They aren't even allowed to wake me until 6 a.m. They all have a plan this year, though, because Addison and Braylon always sleep together every Christmas Eve. And they're 17 and 13. And if their friends find out about this. Anyways, they always do. And they stay up all night. And they've been telling me stories like how they do this. And they come and they'll sneak out and they'll look. And then they go back to sleep. But they can't sleep because they're so excited.
Yeah.
So this year, Weston's going to sleep with them.
Oh, he gets to join.
All 3 of them are going to sleep together, but they can't get up till 6 a.m.
Not allowed. Weston will be up before 6.
My house doesn't start till 6. Nothing starts.
Well, my oldest and my grandson,
I love that he's going to be here this year.
they're spending the night Christmas Eve. And so my grandson gets to wake up to all of the Christmas crazy in the morning. And I'm
love
just
that
so
so
excited
much.
to share that with him.
He's so cute.
He's so cute. He's a year and a half.
And he is so cute.
He's so cute and wild.
Uh-huh.
And I'm crazy about him. So that's what we have for you today, Misfits. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And thank you for joining Mystery Loves Company. Bye.